Hello, I'm Chris Menard. Thank you for attending. If you've been on my YouTube channel before, I'm branching out a little bit. Today I'm going to have a real estate agent that I use, Teri Khimani, with me. We're going to discuss the real estate market in general, and Teri's also going to do a deep dive in the Metro Atlanta market. So I'm going to let Teri introduce herself. And Teri, I appreciate you joining me here today.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me. I'm Teri Khimani. I've been a realtor with Keller Williams now going on 5 years, and I'm a local expert in the Metro Atlanta market.
And full disclosure, Teri is my real estate agent. She sold my last home. I found her because she sold my neighbor's home in 1 day. And I'm like, that was pretty fast. Then she sold my home in 3 days. So now I've owned 2 homes. Teri sold the last one. I've been in an apartment for the last year looking for a new home. So we're out shopping again. So Teri's going to give some advice about the Metro Atlanta area. And Teri, I've got a lot of questions here before you show any data. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's good.
The question I've been asked most often is now a good time to buy a home?
It is, Chris, and we'll look at some data to support that. Right now in the Atlanta market, I haven't noticed much of a change or a difference. I'm not an economist, I'm a realtor, so I can just look at the data that we have on our market and our zip codes and kind of educate my clients based off of what the data shows us.
Okay. Teri, is this a buyer's market or a seller's market? And also, what's the difference between a buyer's market and a seller's market?
Yeah, Chris, so we've been in the seller's market. In the seller's market, they have all the power, right? So there's been a low inventory of listings, so that the prices have been, top dollar. There's been tons of buyers, so the sellers have been able to, demand certain prices and people are paying it, right? So that's the market that we've been in. So it would be the opposite for a buyer's market where there'd be tons of inventory and the buyers would have the power to, possibly offer less or kind of negotiate in their best interest for buying. So right now we're in a seller's market, meaning low selling inventory and tons of buyers.
Teri, that's absolutely true as we experienced yesterday. So full disclosure, yesterday was a Friday. I took half the day off. We went to find a house up in Cobb County, which is in Metro Atlanta. The city was Marietta. Found a house that I loved. We put an offer in for how much over asking? How much was it?
Over $8,000.
And we were paying the closing, and somebody put in another offer that beat mine. So it is a seller's market, in my opinion, too. So I gotta, all right. So Teri, can we look at some data for Metro Atlanta? But before we do, I'd like to actually show a quick map of what Metro Atlanta looks like in case we have people that are outside of Metro Atlanta. So let me just share this real quick. When I say Metro Atlanta, there's the city of Atlanta right there in the middle. I'm currently residing over here in DeKalb County. I'm looking for a house in either Cobb County or Gwinnett. The house that Teri sold last year is I was down in Henry County down here at the bottom. I think Teri's going to show us some Henry County data, and then we're going to look at a zip code in Gwinnett County. So Teri, I'm going to let you share if you would.
Yeah, Chris, I wanted to talk about Stockbridge, which is the 30281 zip code that's south of Atlanta, and that's the first one I'm going to do. Then I'm going to talk about Snellville. I actually have a listing there. That's going to be the 30078. So both of these are counties in the Metro Atlanta area, and my map is not up, so pull that up real quick.
We're all right. While you're pulling up your data sheet, I'll tell people that in case you're not familiar, Gwinnett County, the state of Georgia has 154 counties. The only state with more counties in our state is Texas, and Gwinnett County, I believe, is the biggest county in Georgia. So,
wow, I didn't know that, Chris.
Useless information, right?
Okay, here we go. All right, so the first zip code that I wanted to show you guys and pull up is the 30281, which is Stockbridge. And what I'm showing you is basically this year versus last year data. So if we look at new listings, that's the first little category right here. New listings in January, February, March, April, and we don't have any data from May right now because we're just in there. Every month has gone up except for April and February. I do want to say, April was the month we started to shelter in place, so the numbers for April are a little skewed, but if you see for majority, we're right on track just as we were last year. The next set of numbers I wanted to look at are pending sales. So if you look at January compared to last year, it's up, almost 13%. February was up almost 4%. March was up over 3.5%. And then April again decreased a little bit. But we should be seeing the May data, at the end of the month to kind of see. The closed sales is the most important one. This is actually homes that have sold for this area, the Stockbridge area this year compared to last year. January took a little bit of a decline, February also, but March was up over 6.5%, and then April took a little bit of a decline.
Hey, Terry, may I ask you something?
Mm-hmm.
So you just showed the homes that have sold. How much did they sell for? Can you show me that? Do you have that data?
Yeah. So the next, I could show you individually. However, the most important one that I wanted to tell you was the closed sales volume for this year versus last year. And the most important thing is the prices have not declined. So maybe less homes have sold. However, the volume and the sales price has not changed. So in January, you see an increase of 2%. February did take a little decline, but it wasn't much. March, we were up over 11%. And then April, we were up over 2%. So that's a good thing for sellers and people buying. The home values are not decreasing. Maybe the numbers have decreased a little bit, but the values aren't going anywhere. And that's also an important thing when you look at the market. You have your average sales price. So they have not declined at all this year, and they've actually increased every single month. So the average sales price in the Stockbridge area has increased. And this tells us people have equity in their home. Right? So the equity is continuing to grow. So if you're buying now or you have bought from last year, you can see it in January, they've gone up 9%, February, 0.5%, 4% in March, and April, they've increased over 10%. Wow. So this is very important for buyers and sellers to know that the home values are increasing.
Very good. So Terry, this was Stockbridge, which is in Henry County, correct? Yeah,
just right side, the south side of Atlanta. So the next one I'm going to do is the Snellville zip code, which is the 3078 zip code, 30078. And we'll take a look at what's going on in that market. So here we are for new listings for the Snellville area. It's on the north side of Atlanta. January, they were up. February was down a little bit. March was up. And then April took a little bit of a hit. Again, but that I think is due to the sheltering in place starting. If you come down to the pending sales, January was up 23%. February is not much of a difference. It went from 43 to 41 pending sales. March went from 76 to 70, and then April was the biggest hit from 76 to 49. But if you take a look at the closed sales, they were up over 10% in January, February up 21%, March and April took up a little bit of a hit. But again, the same thing, if you look right here for this county, the closed volume was increased by almost 23% in January, almost 30% in February, which is a huge increase. Again, this is people's the home prices are increasing in this county. They did take a small hit in March and April. And then again, the sales prices, which is the equity in people's homes, the values of the homes, they did not decrease at all this year compared to last year.
Even in April, they went up.
Mm-hmm, they did go up over 5%, March 10
okay.
and a half. And that's the most important one, I think, to me, just because the conditions, of the home market determined by the economy, the supply and demand, and the interest rates. So this is just kind of some information for people to kind of understand where we're at.
So Terry, here's another question. Someone wants to know, first of all, who usually pays closing costs? And the follow-up to that is, what are closing costs?
Yeah, so the closing costs are usually the buyer's responsibility. Those are your prepaid, your taxes, your insurance, your attorney fees, your lender fees. Those are your, as the buyer, your responsibilities. However, a lot of the times we can get the sellers to pay for them, or some new construction builders will pay for those closing costs for you, or a majority of them will pay some of them based on you using their lender. So they are the buyer's fees. However, as a realtor, I always try to get those taken care of for my client, or as much as possible, to be paid for by the seller.
Teri, do the new construction, do they ever offer any incentives? You mentioned that they do. Can you
Yeah,
give
they
me an
do. So
example?
I know like D.R. Horton, Century Communities, some of the bigger, builders, they offer certain incentives to their buyers if they use their preferred lenders. I just had a client go under contract last week, and D.R. Horton was offering $9,000 in closing costs to use their lender. So,
Okay.
it's a huge incentive.
So Teri, someone wants to know they're going to be first-time home buyers, and they want to know what fees are associated with buying a home.
Yeah, so there's some little hidden fees or little fees associated with buying a home on top of usually the down payment and closing costs. You have your home inspection fees, which I encourage everyone to get a home inspection when they're buying. The appraisal fee, which is the fee the lender charges you to get the home appraised. And then you have your earnest money, which is the small amount of money you put towards the sales price of your home. Usually your realtor, the real estate company will hold it, or the attorney will hold it. But that does go towards the purchase of your home when you close. So it's not kept or lost. It's, goes towards the purchase price of your home.
Okay. Thank you. I want to keep this video short, Teri. I appreciate your time. Can you tell us how people can reach you?
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, they can call me directly at 678-967-1712, or they can email me at KhimaniTeri@gmail, and that's KHIMANITERI@gmail.com.
Very good. And Teri, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like this is going to be a great video. So are you willing to come back again?
Yeah, Chris, I would love to come back and talk about different topics. Maybe we can talk about the interest rates or the supply and demand, or just, different things the viewers want to know about the housing market and what's going on in real estate.
Okay. And Teri, just so you know, I'm going to put this video on my YouTube channel. I'm going to put it on a blog post on my website. I'll give you the link, and you can post this anywhere you want to. So I do appreciate your time. Very nice of you to join me today. So.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you all. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have any questions for Teri, I will put a link in my YouTube description to Teri's webpage. Teri, you have a webpage, don't you? Now that I just said that. All right. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.